Hello and welcome to this car pod.
I'm Kenan.
I'm Felipe.
And there's a lot to talk about today. Let's start with the news. Aston Martin Valhalla, Vulcan Valkyrie. There's a lot of Aston Martins.
There are a lot of Aston Martins.
Not like sold, just in the lineup.
But they've re-announced, and I say that because the Aston Martin Valhalla had been previously announced as a concept car back in 2019. It was going to have a V6 hybrid.
Oh.
Then in 21, they re-showed it and said production would start in 23. You don't find this to be exciting?
I mean, it still doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know, because in 21, they said it'd be here in 23. Well, now it's 24. They say here it'll be here in 26.
Right. Could be
Maybe every 2 years, they're going to say it's going to be here 2 years from now.
Aston Martin trying to keep the brand exciting. Just keep
For
teasing
the same
us.
car.
I will tell you this,
Looks
and
the
this
same.
is something that I want you to be impressed by. Car has 1,064 horsepower,
Wow.
just like the new ZR1. Same figure, 1,064.
Is it the same engine?
Yeah, same engine.
Oh, wow.
No, 1,064 horsepower, and get this. This is where you're going to be blown. Your mind is going to be blown. Dry weight, 3,650. So curb weight, probably 38, 3,900. It's a lightweight. That's a joke.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
It's almost 2
I
times.
know.
1,000 of them are going to be made, but right now it isn't being made. It is
What
going to
is
be a
the
plug-in
powertrain?
hybrid.
It's a plug-in hybrid V8.
It's a plug-in hybrid based on Mercedes AMG. But I agree with Kenan in the sense that I'm a little reluctant to get really into the details because we've been lied to before.
Right. I mean, yes, it's another Halo car for Aston Martin, but wasn't the Valkyrie also that? And that's...
This is like slotting below the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is a Halo car on a level that like Felipe will never attain as
Correct.
a person. You know what I mean? Like that's a $4.5
Are you saying
million
that I'll
dollar.
attain this?
You
I'm
like,
honored if
as a
so.
person, you will attain it. You won't have one of these.
Oh,
You will
okay,
just
yeah.
like get to this
Got
level
it.
of
Wait,
humanity.
So hold on. So that's $4.5 million. Any price figures on what this is going to be?
And the last time they showed it, which was in 21, they said over $1 million. Now they're talking. No, I'm sorry. That was in 19. They said it over $1 million. Then in 21, they said around 800. So you got to figure 1.5.
Well, I'm glad that they really are so they make a $4 million car. And if you're not that rich, if you don't have
Right.
3 commas in your net worth, if you have 2, then you can get this.
Well, that's
That's amazing.
that's how it works.
I know, but it's just I just don't care about like these ultra high end. Like,
I also have really grown a little tired.
just weary.
Of another hypercar, another supercar, particularly from Aston Martin, which is a brand. When Ferrari announces an F80, I look at it. That's something you have to focus
Yes,
on.
it is.
When Aston Martin announces yet another
That's
or
identical
McLaren,
to one that they announced
it's not
5
identical.
years
The
ago.
Valkyrie, you're
No,
talking
no,
about
no.
the original Valhalla,
Valhalla, yeah,
or the
yeah.
Valor,
No, the original
the Vulcan.
Valhalla. The original one.
Why did we pick the letter V? You know, in my family, we name all our pets starting with the letter T, and
Oh,
they've
the
chosen
letter
V.
K.
It's the
They've
same-
chosen V. It doesn't work as well with a car company because Ford found this out when they tried to do it with F and with E with the SUVs. They had Explorer, Escape. It was hard. Expedition, Excursion. Its marketing makes it challenging.
Yep.
Like it's hard for consumers to distinguish. And as a consumer, I got to be honest. It's Valhalla, Vulcan, Victory. I don't know. I don't.
Nice.
There's one called the Victor.
Is it really? The
Valor.
Victory.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
The point is, this car is going to be a plug-in hybrid twin turbo V8, 1,064 horsepower. It'll be cool. It'll be like the SF90 and the Revuelto.
What's the chance that Aston Martin goes bankrupt before this car actually comes out?
I know everybody's all
Pretty
excited,
good.
like, "Oh, this is cool." It's
Yeah,
like
good chance.
I will
don't-
never forget. To this day, I was at the Mazda 6 launch. A car's not even on sale anymore, is it?
No.
I was at the new Mazda 6
It might
launch
still be on sale.
in
but it's
2017,
fundamentally not.
and they were like, "We're going to have a diesel in 6 months."
I remember.
And you know what? I'm still waiting. So I don't trust anything that any automaker ever tells me at any time ever until it is driving down the street in front of me.
I don't totally disagree. So I don't know, but yeah, to your point, it's worn the shine off of the really special cars because when they're a lot of something that are really special, it's no longer really special.
Right.
And I think that
There's
I'm sure
so
it will be amazing, but
Right. But all of them are amazing. There's so many
All of them are
tools for
amazing.
rich guys to go fast.
I know.
But
And
that's
they're-
how you make money. But you got to actually release the car and sell it.
The problem is you don't necessarily make money that way if you don't have something behind it.
Yeah.
The F40 sold now because it's like got this historical panache. Just creating another 1,000 horsepower electric car or plug-in hybrid it doesn't, and McLaren has discovered this. These cars aren't incredibly easy to sell necessarily. Just because they make a $2 million car doesn't mean it sells out. Doesn't mean there's a ton of people who want to buy it. And especially with an Aston Martin brand name, you got to kind of wonder. They should have a V12 too, you know?
Do what Ferrari's not doing. Put a V12 in it.
And 3 pedals.
Imagine if this had a V12 and 3 pedals.
Oh my God. People would be lining up to buy it. And by lining up, I mean they would sell out. It would be still hard, but it wouldn't be as hard as this. Which will be to sell. Speaking of cars that won't sell, skip on to that open top Mercedes thing. Yeah, we'll get to these.
We'll get to all these stories.
So tell me about this.
So this is the Mercedes AMG Pure Speed. So in addition to trying to copy Ferrari by building a car with no roof, because this is a true Barchetta, they also gave it a stupid name.
They did.
But this car, so it's an SL63 underneath. Okay. But what they've done is they've tried to tie into their Formula One heritage and put this bar. Now, on Formula One cars, it's called the Halo. The idea is that it's a piece of the structure of the car that if you flip it over, it will protect the driver. And it has saved...
No.
Okay. It has genuinely saved lives. It is a really important thing in a Formula One car.
It's a very distinctive piece.
Not particularly attractive.
Not attractive. But when you look at an F1 car, it's one of the first things you see.
Now, in a Formula One car, it's necessary. Now, you'll notice that in the picture of this, and for those of you who can't see, it's pretty close to the headrest. So your head is like about here, meaning that I don't think that does a whole lot in the way of safety necessarily.
Well, it probably is. It probably will hold the weight of the car, is my guess.
I don't think it's quite as effective as it is in a Formula One car. But nonetheless,
regardless,
the things about but basically underneath it's an SL63. Yep. Same 4-liter twin turbo V8, 577.
It's probably the same engine as the one in the Valhalla.
So the regular SL63 is $188,000, and the e-performance hybrid is $200 or plus.
And
this ain't gonna be around there.
No, there's speculation. Mercedes-Benz hasn't come up with an official price for you. They say around $300,000.
Around $300,000 for windshieldless. Here's my problem with this vehicle. And by the way, I actually kind of like how it looks. Yeah. I think it looks pretty cool.
Does it?
Here's my problem with this vehicle. We have learned from McLaren Elva, from Ferrari SP1 and SP2. And from what was the other? Aston Martin did it. It had 2 like teardrop seats. I can't remember what it's called. That these cars don't sell. Like I met a lot of tasteless rich guys, and I filmed their cars, and even they didn't buy the McLaren Elva. They were like, nope. We're going to buy all the other ones. We don't want Elva. So why does Mercedes-Benz think that a windshieldless car is the way to go?
I think because they can't sell SLs anyway.
Right.
So they're like, do something different.
They did it once before.
Oh, yes, they did. Yes,
they had another expensive performance car they couldn't sell.
Yes, they did. And they
pull it up. We want to see it.
It's the Sterling Moss.
When Mercedes was trying to sell the SLR and for some reason had committed to a production run of 3,500 units, which was about 3,300 units too many, they decided.
Damn.
They decided to come up with a windshieldless version called the Sterling Moss, named after famous windshieldless race car driver Sterling Moss.
So he's an incredibly legitimate human being.
Man didn't have a windshield though. And so they came out with this.
It looks better than an SLR.
It looks so much better. And honestly, when I see him, which I don't, but when I see pictures of him, I'm like, that's actually pretty cool.
It's so cool. I've never seen one in person. I would love to. Yeah.
There's the Prince of Monaco's car collection has one. There's a museum.
Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Next time I'm there.
Pop down to Monaco. They also have the bubble top LS600 HL.
That's this, not really the same. That the SLR was a supercar at its time. This is just an SL6.
It's probably faster.
Now they're only going to build 250 of these allegedly.
Oh, 250.
Thankfully.
That's probably a number that'll get it done.
One hopes.
If they're 300 Gs, that's probably a number that'll get it done.
Probably.
What do you think is going to be a harder sell? The Aston Martin, whatever we just talked about, or the AMG Speed Shift?
Well, on this, I'll tell you what. They give you helmets that have an intercom system.
Wait, there's helmets?
Yes, they're helmets. They're like aerodynamically designed to like fit in the car. Which
first off, if you got helmets, you don't need the bar to be structural. The helmet will support your weight. Second, you just learned something.
Let me think about that a little more.
Second, if you can talk to your passenger, then that's great, man. You don't need a motorcycle. You can just get a speed track.
It's the pure speed.
I'm not going to
call it. P is capital, S is capital.
There will be no situation under which that I refer to the car by that name.
What are you going to call this then?
I like Speed Shift, which is what they call the transmission.
You're going to call this
still call that? Because they did.
AMG Speed Shift, buddy.
Did you still call that?
Yep. I don't know.
Yup.
Okay, well that's going to be a poor car that will sell well. But I gotta say, I think it's cooler than I wish that I thought it was. Because it's obviously a cynical attempt to sell some.
Right.
But
Sell some SLs.
At least the front end looks better than the actual.
This
SL
is going to be
front
sold in the United States.
I'm
Of
not
America?
entirely sure it was going to
Also,
be.
it does have a windshield, sort of.
Well, all the
Unlike
windshieldless cars.
the Elva that doesn't, right? It uses air.
No, it's optional, I believe, in the
Well,
Alpha.
right. So
The
by
Elva,
default.
and when you put the windshield on an Elva, it just looks like a 720S. Wild. So it's $4 million. Or, I mean, use their 38 grand.
I have to tell you about this game-changing product. It's called pre-alcohol. That's right, pre-alcohol. Although Doug merely likes a glass of cold water, I like an old-fashioned when we're out to dinner on Friday night with our friends. But as car enthusiasts, one of our favorite activities is to wake up at the crack of dawn on the weekend and go hang out with our car friends at Cars and Coffee. This often means that drinking the night before isn't really on the table. We, as car enthusiasts, have to choose between a fun night out or a fun morning with cars and friends. This product is a game changer to allow for both. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break down this byproduct. Just remember to take pre-alcohol as your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. I enjoy ZBiotics as my first drink on Friday night before dinner, and I'm still able to arrive first to Cars and Coffee the next day. Go to zbiotics.com/cars to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use CARS at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/cars and use the code CARS at checkout for 15% off.
Okay, what was our next news story that we skipped over
Let's go back to talk about a 4Runner.
supercars that are never going to sell? New 4Runner pricing has been announced, and boy, are people angry. The new 4Runner is going to start at some crazy amount of money.
That number is lower than what they originally said.
4770 is without destination, and destination charges these days are like $7,000.
So 42 or 4199, whatever it is.
It's like 42 and change.
That's
but that's a base model 4-cylinder basey.
But that's what the current one
it's
starts
about
at.
what the current one starts at, but the current one bases with a V6.
That's been around for 3 decades and makes 200 horsepower.
We like our 4-liter, 200 horse. That's all we need.
It might be before 4Runner fans complain. I'm sure it's 240 or something.
No, it's a big number. It's like 3 million.
What is? But it's rare that a car increases cost by like $45 or whatever the starting MSRP is.
Okay, well,
and it's a
the higher
4-cylinder
trims-
hybrid, right?
The higher trims are a lot more expensive.
Well, sure.
Now, I did
luxury.
a dollar by dollar comparison,
did you?
and some of the higher trims are like $3 to $6 grand more expensive.
Do they also have adaptive cruise control and less wind
this
noise?
is the thing. This is the thing. Number one, people are up in arms because it's more
Are people
expensive.
upset by this? I'm thrilled that it's
more.
so
It is
cheap.
more expensive. The base you can't
By
compare
40
base to base.
No, but you can get into a 4Runner for the same price you can get into a 2024 4Runner that's been the same for literally 14 years.
14 years. Still has halogen running lights. The last car.
And doesn't have adaptive cruise to stop, if memory serves.
Yeah.
It has a 5-speed automatic,
Yep.
probably.
Oh,
it
you
might,
should
it might be a
see
4.
the
I
tech.
don't know.
The backup camera.
Right.
The backup camera is like they pay a guy to just tell you, right? Like a low wage. It's cheaper than
it's the same cost. I know that it's a smaller engine. I know it's a base trim, but still, that's notable that it didn't increase more.
the higher trims did increase, but like 3 to 6 to 5 to 8 grand. It's much more expensive. However, there's a couple points I'd like to make. Number one, people are complaining about this also at Tacoma. Toyota's lost their minds. I was there, and by I was there, I mean I ran a business where people were selling these cars. When these cars were selling for that, and Toyota wasn't making the money, right? The TRD Pros 4Runners were priced at like 55, and people were flipping them for like 65.
They're still worth
and
55
Toyota was
today.
sitting there thinking, why are we not making this money? And it's hard to fault Toyota for going after money that the market said was there. Now, the drawback is that flipper market has died. And so in a world where these cars were selling for 65 pretty regularly, they aren't anymore. And now Toyota's trying to go into that price point. It was bad timing. But people are complaining about these prices, MSRPs. In the past, the MSRP was too cheap based on how the market viewed the value of the car.
Also, there's the current 4Runner. Sure, there's a TRD Pro.
Yep.
it doesn't have nearly the level of off-road equipment that the new 4Runner has.
Yeah, it's probably about the same.
Is it?
Toyota doesn't develop new stuff. They got traction control, they got multi-terrain select.
They're doing more. They haven't really invested in the 4Runner.
It's a much better vehicle. I haven't driven it, but I've been in it and been around it. It is a modernized version of the car. That doesn't, however,
a couple grand more doesn't seem insane to me.
But that doesn't necessarily allow you to charge a lot more, just modernizing the car. It is expected as table stakes that you modernize the cars every few years.
That's fair.
Usually, even a redesign, they don't upgrade up the price by $3 or $5,000. My contention, though, is the market already showed that it was willing to pay these prices.
It still is. 4Runners are still hard to get.
Grand Highlanders are hard to get.
Tier D Pro and Tier D Off-Road, which are the top. Tier D Pro, which is the top trim, is still hard to get.
It is. It is.
Which is what the top trims are here.
Yeah. It's still relatively hard to get. I think it's more of a production constraint than a cost situation. But the point remains that if they're production constrained, why not bump the price up? Because people are going to still buy them and they'd rather make the additional. And I don't blame Toyota, and I think it's totally reasonable if that's what the market wants. And people complain all the time about markups, but if people pay them, then that's what the market wants. That's how supply and demand works.
Right.
I went into Econ 101. This one named Bev taught it. Her name was Bev.
Wow,
Kenan, I will pay you. Let's see if I have a cash. I will pay you $10 if you could name all of the SUVs in Toyota's 2025 lineup.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Can you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Kenan, go for it. I don't think you can. I bet you can.
10 crisp dollars. This is a shockingly crisp.
That's really.
What do you got? What do you got? Give us a couple.
So I recommend starting from smallest, going to large, or cheapest, go to most expensive.
I will tell you, one cut in front of me today that I would have forgotten in less expensive.
There's no way I can do this.
Yep. You think you can name half?
No.
I will give
you how many more I can name outside the 4Runner.
All right, what do you got? No, you know mine.
Wait, the Sequoia.
6, I will give you this.
Okay.
6. Apparently there's more than 6. Damn, good luck.
All right, so 4Runner, Sequoia.
2.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
All right.
I don't know.
Okay, wait. Hang on. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Come on.
I mean, I could do the same thing with you. Give me Ferrari's lineup. It'd be the same thing.
Can you
name all of them?
I bet you'll forget some.
I think I can.
Okay, go.
All right, I'm going to try to start the Corolla Cross.
Yep.
The RAV4.
Yeah,
RAV4. I'm going to call the RAV4 Prime the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. They don't, but I agree.
The Crown Signia.
Oh, this might happen.
The Highlander, the Grand Highlander, the 4Runner, the Land Cruiser, the Sequoia. I do feel like I'm missing one.
Let's see.
No, that's all of them. They don't sell the CHR anymore.
That's all the ones that I can think of.
Well, that's riveting.
Yeah, that's all of them.
Congratulations.
Wait a minute. Go through them one more time.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no, you did. You said Highlander and Grand Highlander. Yeah. You got them all.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Do you have $10 for me?
Huh? No.
Yeah, I said Land Cruiser.
He's over here talking. Oh, wait. You know what you forgot? The regular Crown, which has the ground clearance and sport utility.
That's a great point.
Well done. I would have done it too, but I'm surprised you got Crown Signia. Although
I will say this pricing kind of, when the 4Runner was announced at the same time as they were doing first drives of the Land Cruiser, we were all kind of like, how are they splitting this to have a Land Cruiser and a GX and an LX600 and now LX700?
Yep.
The pricing kind of makes it work.
Yeah.
It's cheap enough. We were worried it'd be too expensive.
It's priced like Land Cruiser. I don't understand.
How much is a Land Cruiser?
Land Cruisers are like mid-50s.
This are 15 grand less.
Yeah, but to equivalize, you'd pay about mid-50s.
Yeah, but I'm kind of assuming that in like 2027, they'll announce a smaller
you know what?
Off-road SUV.
This is what's going to
cruiser, if you will.
I'm going to tell you this. When we drive around, we will know. The real off-roaders bought a 4Runner. And the guys who like to drive around and look cool bought a Land Cruiser. Because ultimately the 4Runner has more stuff, beefier, better priced, but it doesn't have the name.
Right.
The name guys.
What if they buy a GX 550?
I guess that's okay.
Okay.
They should have a Sequoia TRD Pro. Okay, move on.
I'm kind of curious. One last point on the pricing. For the first model year of the new one, I wonder what it compares, like adjusted for inflation, price model year of like the first model year of the old one. Like how much does inflation play into like the price of this car? That doesn't seem that crazy to me.
Did you know that in 2010 the 4Runner SR5 Sport Utility, which is the base trim,
started at 30.
Started at 30.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
So,
I mean, it feels like it's kind of
2010. No, that's only an increase of 30% since 2010. That's probably about that probably about keeps up with inflation.
Yeah, so I think it's probably. I mean, because I was just thinking,
and it's obviously a much better truck. I mean, this is on leagues better than a
cheapest new car in America is 18 grand. Like things have kind of changed. You know, it's like I don't think
that
it's
is
that
equivalent
crazy.
to 48.
Oh, damn, we're getting a deal. Go buy a 4Runner. It's a bargain. Okay,
Cars in general have beat inflation. Like they're cheaper than inflation.
Especially given what they offer.
Yeah.
Anytime I drive for a video an 80s car, I'm like, I can't believe people paid the equivalent of like $100,000 for this trash.
Yep.
It's like amazing. It's like the E36 M3 GT is a very cool car, but like
not for what it costs when it was
you
new.
get into a new M3 or M4, and it's like, this is incredible to drive. That was like that plastic. People bought that thing for that money.
And it was incredible. It was incredible at the time. That's how bad other cars were.
Before we move forward, when will you drive a 4Runner?
Spring, March, I think they said.
Cool.
I can't wait. I truly can't wait. I think it's so cool.
Cool. Moving on to the
Already
next
made my opinion. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Ioniq 5N is shown here because it's the only cool car that Hyundai makes. That's not true.
Yep.
But close. You can now buy a Hyundai on Amazon.
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com.
Jeff Bezos' website.
Yeah. They announced a partnership like a year ago where you'd be able to buy it. It's finally live.
Wait a second.
In select markets.
Was it Hyundai you could buy at Costco also?
Costco does have a bunch of manufacturer programs,
stuff.
but you can't buy them through Costco.
Okay, so now you can go
In
on Amazon.
theory, you can go on Amazon, you can see all the inventory, and then you can like legitimately start your purchase.
Okay.
You still have to go through a dealer. And as far as I can tell, it's only sort of available in our area because I tried and just get sent to the dealer website.
Yeah, okay, so
they're still
Ioniq
working on
5,
some
and there
fix.
it is. Okay, I'm interested at Hyundai of Temecula, and then you click on begin purchase.
In theory, you can get full pricing information and financing information on Amazon. I have not seen that to be true, and I've seen people talking online about how
it's right here. It's right here.
It gives you to then the dealership to actually complete the purchase.
Well,
but it's interesting.
They got rules about all
You
this stuff.
can also get $2,300 in Amazon gift cards if you
Pretty solid
for a limited time.
You can't buy it. You can't not buy a car at a dealership. They got rules.
So that's why the
take
question.
it back in and here, buy my new Hyundai on Amazon.
The question is like, I'm glad they're doing this because I like innovation and how people buy cars.
Right.
Clearly, we run cars and beds, which is an innovation how people buy cars, used cars. But like, given that you still have to go to a dealership,
yeah, it's the concept. The legacy automakers are seeing that what Tesla has, Rivian and Lucid have done, which is they got a kiosk at the mall and you order a car and then a little robot delivers it, ish. And they want to do that, but they've got all these dealer agreements and there's all these laws and stuff. They can't really do it. But here you go, $337 a month for a venue.
Great. Can you begin purchase?
Yeah, I can click on begin purchase.
And then it'll send you to a dealer.
Probably the dealer will call me for the next decade.
Correct.
See, somebody's
that's
signed up for a
part.
venue.
But it is nice that you can see across dealers a little bit more easily. Obviously, cars.com, car gurus, whatever, you can see that. But it's nice to have it in one place and where you do all your shopping with it.
Do you think eventually it'll be available on Prime and that will
That'll deliver in 2 days?
That'll revolutionize the shipping industry, the car shipping industry, which is notoriously slow.
I bet that they have thought about this a lot. Yeah,
that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. If I could go on Amazon and order
have it show up tomorrow,
or like book service.
Oh, well, that would be incredible. But
Like I got my G-Wagon. I want to get Amazon to come service it.
I'd be afraid of that. But
I think my main takeaway is that this is not that notable.
It's not that notable,
but it's,
unless it does more. The concept of it is cool that you can shop on Amazon, but like if you have to go through the dealer, if you have to do the whole process anyway, then it's an aggregator like Auto Trader.
Right. And like financing $337 a month for that venue, that's so dependent on your actual credit score, et cetera. You're not going to get the real info for a while. But
so we're being lied to.
More
One
info
thing
is
we're
always
not
good.
being lied to about though is
oh yes.
No, go to the next one. I want to talk about the next one. No, the next one, not the previous one. The Mustang. Yeah.
I thought it was a great segue to the Model Q.
No, this is not a lie. You know how they know that? Because it's down to the thousandths of a second.
yes, that's right. The Mustang GTD is laid down a time on the Nurburgring.
So
It's
Doug-
657.685.
Doug did not know what the
Sub 7.
Mustang GTD was.
No,
And probably
I
a lot
knew
of
what
our
it
listeners
was.
don't either.
I knew what it was. I just like.
What is it, Ken?
It's a track focus version of the Mustang. It's supposed to be their Halo car. So it's a $325,000 Mustang. This is 815 horsepower,
Isn't
but
it mid-engine?
it is a multimatic suspension system, which is incredible. They had it at the Quail, and I got to really look at it. It's beautiful. Like
Front engine? No, didn't they move the engine
what
for the GTD? No, wow.
No.
I imagine this. Great. I don't know what it is.
Man, you're a Corvette guy. You just don't know anything.
Now
about
that we moved the engine, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
So anyway, did a 657, 685, sub 7-minute Nurburgring lap time. That beats the Courage GT. Filippo, any thoughts about that?
Yeah,
Same
that
time
was-
as the 918.
not an accomplishment.
Yes,
Yeah.
which
That's
beating,
an
the
accomplishment.
beating the Courage GT, barely an accomplishment.
The Courage GT is the greatest car ever built, though. The Courage GT.
let's take a quick look.
Ask Walter Roll.
So here are the list on Wikipedia anyway of the top times that have been laid down by production cars. So The AMG Project One takes the cake at 629, which is
so wild,
ridiculous.
That is 10 seconds faster than this GT2 RS with the performance kit
on a damn track. Wow.
I mean, that's like in a completely different league of automobile.
Right.
But the Mustang is, I guess it's in the top 10, technically. It's down here below the 918 Spider. Same time, basically.
Yeah, because a lot of these cars are actually the same car with different drivers in different conditions. If you scroll up, like GT3 appears a couple times. GT3 RS here appears twice. I guess one's a 992, one's a 991. But the point is, Lo, that it's Radical SR8 appears twice.
Now, Ford has said that they're not done yet. They think they can do better and they can shave off more time. But it is remarkable that the Nurburgring is a gigantic racetrack with a lot of conditions. It can be raining in one part and dry and sunny in the other. And it's huge. There are towns within it.
Did you know that?
I did know that, but like barely.
Like you go over bridges, like there's like towns in the Nurburgring.
Would you want to live there? Can you buy a house there?
Yeah, you can't, but like a person could. What does that mean? They don't let your kind over to the Nurburgring.
I mean, you citizen.
Filippo calls it the Nurburgring. But nonetheless, it is impressive that a Mustang is included amongst, to be honest with you, a lot of Porsches and Mercedes.
It's the fastest American car.
Fastest American car of all time. How much faster is it than the Ford GT, the one that they do, that Multimatic also does? Ford GT... Oh, it's not on here. But my Ford GT did a 752. It took a minute off that. Holy crap.
What is the next American car on this list?
Oh, man.
Some sort of Viper. ACR Viper did 701 in 17.
And apparently testing ended in tire failure, resulting in a crash.
Third attempt, testing ended by tire failure, resulting in a crash. So in other words, the Viper can do a 701, but only 2 laps. Then the tires fail and you die.
Hey man, it's all it needs to do. Lay down on time.
Yeah, that's true. Now I will say, I respect the Mustang GTD greatly, having just found out about it today. But I do not respect any car that loses to the Aventador SVJ, which weighs more than a
what does that mean?
Bunch of hogs.
What does that mean about all of your cars?
All of them are slower. And in fact, the SVJ has the 4th best lap time ever.
All of them are production cars. You don't say. The Countach couldn't really throw it down in period.
Dude, aren't you blown away that the SVJ, it's faster than a 911 GT2 RS. It's faster than a Radical SR8 LM, whatever the hell that is. It's faster than a AMG GT Black. The SVJ. You understand the SVJ is the big boy.
I know. We kind of look, I don't want to say look down on it, but like when I see one, I'm like,
that car as a
heavy, big, fat.
That's
is
like
what you're
the
saying.
beluga whale of supercars.
Yeah,
I'm not screwing with it. That thing weighs like
amazing engine, amazing aero, great all-wheel drive system, and it was on Trofeo.
When they did the Hummer EV, they benchmarked the SVJ for weight. They were like, if we just got to get it around.
Unfortunately for them, they were twice as heavy, but
yeah.
They tried.
It wasn't a full roll cage and Trofeo R, so we don't accept that as a real time.
Well, no,
we do. It's like
the roll cage probably even added even more weight.
Right, but nonetheless impressive. Good for Ford.
Let me ask you a question. Go back to the lap time list, and this is a serious question. I just want you to think about it. You don't have to answer.
Okay.
AMG Mercedes driver clearly is Mauro Engel.
Yeah.
Okay. He did the lap time in the AMG.
He's good on damn tracks.
Lamborghini's driver is Marco. You think they? Do you think that Mauro thinks he's faster because he doesn't have that extra letter?
Oh wow, maybe.
You think they fight?
Name that carries the weight.
Think they fight about this?
No, I think the Aventador that carries the weight.
Like they leave it on the track. You know?
All right. What's our last news story? This is some sort of Tesla thing.
Yeah,
didn't look that interesting.
We're gonna talk about this for 10 seconds. Right. Apparently, according to a report from Douchebank, Tesla will have the new one. No, I'm gonna say it weirdly on purpose. Deutsche Bank. Right. Tesla will be revealing in Q1 a sub $30,000 with tax credit, $37,500 if there is not a tax credit anymore. EV. It will apparently be based on an existing platform, and we will believe it when we see it.
Can I tell you something about Tesla and affordable vehicles? I've been hearing my whole life that Tesla was about to release like when they came out with Model 3, there was going to be a $35,000. Never happened. When they came out with Cybertruck, there was going to be a $60,000. What they do is they announce the vehicle, they announce the price point. This is Tesla's strategy. They announce the vehicle, they announce the price point, they come out with more expensive ones, and then quietly they cancel 2 years into production the base one, saying they couldn't make it work. This has happened multiple times. So I don't buy it.
Also, they haven't come out with a refresh Model Y yet, although it will come out soon Jupiter or whatever they're calling it.
Ooh, Jupiter.
That might not be right.
Venus.
I can't remember.
If it was Aston,
but like,
it'd be the Venus.
they should they really
Nice.
be coming
Well
out with
done.
new product lines when they
Well, the cars
Can't
all the cars are intended to be timeless. So like the Model S came out in 12 and it hasn't changed. And people are going to write in and be like, "Yes, it has changed."
there was one facelift in 16.
Right. Listen, if my wife thinks it looks the same, then it looks the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like you and me know it changed because they put a grill on it or they took the grill off.
Took the grill off.
Whatever. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Right. When a new
Ken
S
doesn't
class-
know that there's an updated Model 3.
No.
Hold on. Yes, I do. It was nicknamed the Highlands, which wasn't actually a thing. We saw it. It was a wonderful car.
Yeah, but he
Great
can't tell it
appliance.
apart.
No.
Yes,
can't
I
tell
can.
it apart.
I can tell.
You
them.
Anyways,
can tell apart,
Especially the rears. Yeah, especially the
Well,
rear.
the
The
rear
tail
does
lights.
have different taillights.
What can you
But
tell? The
I
tail?
actually, what about
Yeah,
if
the
the car
front
is
does
off?
look a little different. It's
What
a
if
more
like, the
defined.
car's off?
Huh?
What if the car doesn't have on? Isn't on?
But that doesn't need to be on.
I
The
thought you
shape
meant
of the
that,
taillights are
okay,
completely
well, fine.
All right.
different. I can
Regardless,
tell.
regardless, I have a lot of. I'm holding my breath for this one because the Roadster came out in what year?
They announced that it was 19.
Right.
They announced the Roadster in the fall of 19, 5 years ago. That was the LA Auto Show. We were coming home from the LA Auto Show, and they announced it.
Oh, the Valhalla will be out before for the Roadster.
And then the Valhalla and the Tesla Roadster are in a
Fighting
race
here.
to see which. The funny thing is, by the time those cars come out, they're not interested anymore. When the Roadster, I did this video about this the other day. When the Roadster came out, was announced, it was 1,000 horsepower. It's like,
Right.
whoa.
Sub 2 seconds 0-60 is what they
Right.
said.
Now,
That's
a lot of stuff has 1,000 horsepower. We had a Corvette in the office that some guys brought down on a truck. That had 1,000 horsepower.
right.
The Tesla Roadster was like a space age future car with 1,000 horsepower. Dudes are just bringing cars to us on trucks with 1,000 horsepower now. Something to think about for you.
Yeah.
He doesn't think about 1,000 horsepower.
No, not
His
really.
max is 394. Am I right?
That's right. That's right. Between 400 and 500 is all the more you need on the road.
Well, unfortunately,
Really
your
isn't
M5
bragging.
doesn't have it.
on that number.
Nope.
Neither are you with any of your cars.
Let's be real, guys. Wearing nice pants sucks. Everyone knows I'm a shorts guy, but sometimes pants are unavoidable. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric squeezing your legs was the key to looking sharp? Well, here's an early holiday gift from me to you. Those days are finally over. Public Rec's Daymaker pants are here to make sure you stay comfy and classy this season. They feel like your favorite sweats, but they look like tailored pants. Yeah, super stretchy with an elastic waistband so you can rock them anywhere. Whether you're attending an awkward family gathering, driving a sports car with a very tight seat like the Carrera GT, or walking the dog, these pants have you covered. Filippo is even wearing them now. Don't they look sharp? How do they feel? Stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off when you use the code CARS at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CARS at publicrec.com. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. And say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you've found Public Rec.
So you
Okay,
can stop
there was a
talking.
lot of news this week. We got to move on, though, to other segments. We cannot talk about the Ferrari Cadillac thing. We'll do it next week. Other segments. Volkswagen sent us a cease and desist letter. Filippo doesn't want to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it.
We'll talk about
okay?
it next week.
We got legal things going on here.
We'll talk about it next week.
The cease and desist was about
We'll talk
some
about
van.
it next. We'll talk about it next week.
It had nothing to do with anything
Well,
bad we said
yeah,
on
correct.
about. Like, I insulted the Atlas Cross Sport on the pod last week. No cease and
Did
desist.
you really? I
Yeah,
forgot
remember?
about it, just like I do about the Atlas Sport. Is
It's called the Cross Sport, okay?
it really? Who knows?
It is.
All right, great.
You're thinking of the
talk about,
Sport Cross. That's the Lexus.
we'll talk about the van next week.
We had a van on the site.
We'll
It
talk
was a
about the
Subaru
van
Sandbar
next week.
or something.
The
They had a
house with a
Volkswagen
Tria.
body kit. They told us to take it down. Apparently, we're not allowed to discuss it. We will.
Next week.
Okay, next I want to talk about Consumer Reports. This is a news story, but we're going to talk about it like we're talking about cars. Consumer Reports came out with their ratings of reliability, which in my opinion are very dull, and I don't care. However,
I used to read every car review that Consumer Reports did from like 2004
Well-
to probably 2012.
Dull and boring. You repeat yourself. We'll move on. Kel Surprise.
yeah.
Can you pull up the list?
Consumer Reports comes out with this list. It's unbelievable. They say that the Rivian is the least reliable brand.
Before we get into this, can I say something about Consumer Reports?
Yeah, they're going to Connecticut.
So they're actually based in Yonkers, New York, but they do have a test track in Connecticut in a town called East Haddam, where I once lived.
Okay, that's not. Anyway, so they announced this, and Rivian is the lowest of all the reliable cars. Go
Okay.
down to the very bottom. There's Rivian
They-
hanging out with Cadillac. Dude, I'll tell you something. Where's Ram? Why are there only 22 brands? I want Ram. Ram would be so far it's off the list.
Agreed. Actually, you'll note the no FCA brand except for Jeep is on the
They don't do FCA. Consumer Reports decided years ago to just stop doing FCA.
Do you think it was when they renamed to Stellantis and not FCA?
Anyway,
here's my issue with this.
Yeah.
I love Consumer Reports generally. But a few years ago, maybe 10 now, they started to really include technology and complaints about the in-car technology. And that meant that for a long time, Lexus was dinged pretty badly and went down because it was bad. Right? Yeah. So like it's changed a little bit from like, will my car break down to is the infotainment easy to use?
Right.
So
Consumer Reports used to send out surveys to owners of the cars, and after 2 or 3 years, they'd get data. I agree with you. A lot of people, Consumer Reports-y type people, probably don't understand or like Rivian's technology.
Also, it might be bad. A lot of the Rivian screens have some issues.
The type of people who buy Rivians are happy to be guinea pigs and have their car break a little bit just to be like the first and the coolest.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And like their big complaint might be about the tech or like the screen freezing or whatever, which is a problem, but that's very different than my car breaks down.
My car has stranded me. It has failed to transport me, which is the primary function of a vehicle.
Which is why I think about these a little bit differently than I once did once I added that, because I as a consumer care less about
because like
technology reliability than
I'm looking at Subaru and I'm like, are those transmissions problematic? Like,
no, Subaru's got it all figured out.
For the
Starlink.
Ascent.
No, the Ascent's good now. There was a couple years of Ascent where you were driving on the freeway and it would stop and then catch on fire simultaneously. And if you were still in the car after the fire started, then little men would come out of the cargo area and beat you to death. It was only a 2-year problem.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Also, like,
it was only a 2-year problem.
A question list. I mean, like Land Rover's not on here.
There's not a lot of brands.
Mercedes-Benz.
I find the whole thing to be questionable.
Audi.
Yeah, there's truth to this, and this is also where I would look for like, will my mother-in-law have a problem with her car?
Right. And you wouldn't get your mother-in-law into a Rivian, I'll tell you that right now.
But she and her husband said something about looking at Land Rovers. And
what does your mother-in-law drive at the moment?
Subaru Outback.
Subaru Outback. And she's number one.
She's talking about Land Rovers.
Okay, we're not allowed to talk about Volkswagen. Kenan, give us your topic, which is about Maserati, and I love it. I love it. It's a great thought exercise.
Maserati, as we know.
Noted bad company.
Yes. Makes some...
Can we just go to their website? I don't even know what they sell anymore. The Grecale, the Levante, and the...
And I saw Grecale the other day on the road. That is just like a...
Levante
is canceled. Quattroporte is canceled.
Levante is canceled?
Levante is canceled. In an age where SUVs reign supreme.
Is this their...
This is it.
Can you go to models on the top left?
Well, MC20. Oh, it's there. In an age where SUVs reign supreme, Maserati
they
somehow...
sell the Ghibli.
But only leftovers. They're not selling it anymore. It's not new. The Quattroporte same. They're not. There's not a new one. In an age where SUVs are everything, Maserati somehow managed to miss on an SUV, and they had to cancel it. Name an SUV that's been canceled. Like it's insane, right?
What's the MC20? Oh, okay.
The Cielo is Cielo is the convertible.
Don't do that.
You got to do it. I mean, like, come on.
So GT2 Stradale.
So anyway, they have 3 cars. So your question is,
my question is, the brand is fledgling. Well, they're really struggling here. We'll say. I think their brand equity is low. So my question is, it's a fact, not an opinion. What would you do to fix Maserati?
There's only one real option if you're
bankruptcy and receivership.
I would just close it down.
Close it.
Not gonna lie. Like, I mean, like if you're Stellantis, which owns Maserati, you have this and Alfa Romeo, which sells a car. Mm-hmm. The one that's also a Dodge is also the Grecale.
But Maserati has stronger brand equity than Alfa Romeo in this country.
You're wrong. Maserati has a real future. It's just not being managed particularly well. What I would do, I would really start to think about what I would want to do about all these brands.
You got to consolidate.
I would have an everyman brand like Chevrolet. I would have maybe Alfa be the luxury brand and maybe Maserati be a higher tier sports car brand. And that's it. Just those 3.
Yeah.
And no more Chrysler or Dodge or Ram, whatever you want. Combine those into one brand. It probably can't be called Dodge because it has some difficult name recognition. Then again, you can't come out with a Chrysler Ram. They probably had these conversations. But the point is...
that's what they split off Ram from Dodge for God knows what reason.
That was really a bad idea. Yeah. The good news is they're all sold at the same dealership, so it never mattered to anybody and nobody took the time to learn it. But Maserati...
What would you make? Like the MC20 has not had the response.
Off-road SUV.
Absolutely. For their luxury performance brand?
Yes.
I think
G-Wagon. You ever heard of the G-Wagon? Do you know about the G? It's square and boxy, and they're sold out for 77 years.
heard of the Cayenne? I think there's something to that. In my opinion, I think that Maserati should kind of do. This is a watch analogy that you might not get.
Oh boy.
They should be like the Tudor to Rolex. Rolex has a subsidiary brand that was called Tudor, and they for a long time were referred to as the poor man's Rolex. Everybody wanted a Rolex. But Tudor now has started making more tooly watches that enthusiasts like myself actually want to own. And they have been tremendously successful. And you can't get a Rolex in the same way that it's not easy to get a Ferrari, even if you have the money. You have to be on a list and you have to do all this stuff. I think they should build stuff that like people would actually want to buy and that Ferrari refuses to build. So in my opinion, like if they want to they want to stay sporty and build a sports car, fine. Give it a manual transmission. Make it mid-engine. Make it something really cool and interesting.
That the main brand equity is with non-enthusiasts.
Yeah,
like that's not untrue.
Don't care about but like you go to a person on the street, they're like, oh, what a cool luxury car, sports car.
Rebuilding this brand with enthusiasts would take Herculean effort.
Well,
they've lost.
They're clearly trying. The MC20 was a clear try, and it's a wonderful car.
It is,
but they don't sell it. When they do, it's for 2/3 of MSRP with 10 miles on it.
Yeah, resale's been tough. But I think that enthusiasts are not the answer. The Maserati brand is flashy among regular people, and enthusiasts have long ago kind of started to view it as a joke.
Yeah.
And not kind of started. Like when the Grecale came out, and almost everyone I see is a rental car.
That was tough when you had it too, especially
it was surprisingly good. It is too expensive.
Yeah. I agree with you, Doug, that it's not an enthusiast. I agree with you that it's not an enthusiast brand. They don't have no enthusiast cred. So they got to just go for like luxury. But there's no brand that's doing that successfully. Mercedes maybe, but they're struggling.
No brand that's doing luxury. You know about Lexus? You know about Acura? Acura is killing it right now.
That's luxury. Rolls Royce exists.
But different level. Like Jaguar is not doing well.
Well, no, but Mercedes-Benz
Jag's a whole other thing right now.
No, I'm not to call Maserati a startup brand, but like Jaguar is not doing well. Genesis is not doing well. Who else has tried to go?
What about Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Audi? And Lexus?
So is that where you would put this? Because you kind of implied that Alfa Romeo would be in that category.
I know, but what can you do? You have to put it there. You can't actually make Maserati an expensive brand. The cars don't sell to people who have a lot of money. They sell to people who have some money.
To be fair, Hyundai and Kia have existed by having very similar shared product lines.
Yeah.
So like you could have an Alfa Romeo and a Maserati brand that have Alfa Romeo.
I don't think there's enough daylight there.
The luxury.
I don't think there's enough daylight there. That they're both Italian. Neither of them have great niches.
Alfa Romeo could go enthusiast.
It could go enthusiast. Maybe that's the plan.
Like
maybe you do an Alpha into the enthusiast brand. You give them a car like the MC20, and you send the Grecale and stuff to Maserati.
Or the Grecale is too sporty. You need to go more comfort.
Right. That would go to Alpha. Yeah. And you you do like a 3-row for Maserati, and you do like luxury vehicles for Maserati, and maybe that's where you'd go with it.
Can you scroll down on this list of vehicles? What is at the bottom?
GT2 Stradale,
the
Folgore. That's the electric Gran Turismo.
Thank you.
So that's the thing. They claim to have 28 models, but they actually have 3.
They just lied.
The old trick.
But that's it. That's interesting. That Alpha would suit the enthusiast brand better.
I would argue, though, that just having talked this through, you can't actually do this.
109. Presumably the only Ghibli that they have for sale is
109. You can buy it on our site for literally 10% of
that. The problem is, now that we've talked this through, I really don't think there's room for Alpha and Maserati. I think you make Maserati sort of an enthusiast luxury brand, like a BMW, and go that direction, and keep Chrysler as the everyman brand, or Dodge, and that's it. That's all you do. That's it. And Jeep.
I think Alpha has more cred than Maserati.
That's wrong on levels that it's actually really physically difficult for me to explain to you.
I do see more Ghiblis than I do
geeky
Julius.
Car enthusiasts who like brown diesel station wagons, yes, that's true. To regular people, you walk down the road and you're like, Maserati. People are like, damn, Maserati.
I think you could keep both. We should talk.
I do not.
So this thing about Genesis.
Fewer brands is better. Dude, look what Ford did. When I was a kid, Ford had Ford, Lincoln, Mercury, Jaguar, Land Rover, Aston Martin, Volvo.
Yep. You're missing a few.
I probably am, right? And you know what they trimmed it down to? Ford and Lincoln. That's it.
And they really should have trimmed it further.
Oh, he doesn't like Lincoln.
I love Lincoln. I'm legitimately saddened when I think about how poorly Lincoln sell. Because I think that their SUV lineup is fantastic.
Yeah, I wish they had put more investment into the Lincoln brand. They could legitimately compete if they tried. Like GM has been trying with Cadillac for a long time. Lincoln tries occasionally.
But the Lincoln products are good.
Yeah, they are.
Remember the Coach store?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. And the holidays are here. Time for you to look your best and win Best Groomed at a family dinner. You may have noticed my recent dabbling with facial hair. Well, like choosing a vehicle, there are many options out there for shaving products. I choose the Manscaped Chairman Pro package, the newest offering from Manscaped. Trust me, it's like Rudolph for your face, guiding you to a smooth, irritation-free shave. Whether you're after that daily, silky smooth finish or you prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, this has you covered. You have the skin-safe 4-blade foil for that close, smooth shave when you're looking to go completely clean, and you have the skin-safe stubble trimmer for when you want to keep a bit of that rugged look. Both heads are designed with skin-safe technology to help reduce razor burn and irritation, so your skin feels smooth and comfortable after every shave, reducing redness or discomfort. Plus, one of my favorite quirks and features of the Chairman Pro is that it's waterproof. Yes, you can use it right in the shower. And also, it simplifies cleanup too. Just a quick rinse under the sink and you're all set. Get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that's as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code CARS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code CARS at manscaped.com. Okay, we got to talk market report. There's a lot of market reportal items to discuss. By the way, the market report is brought to you by the Cars and Bids app. The Cars and Bids app, like Cars and Bids, but an app.
You can download it on the iOS App Store right now on your iPhone.
You can download it on the iOS App Store right now on your iPhone or your iPad. You don't even need an iPhone. You have an iPad. If you have an iPod Touch,
yeah.
If you even have one of these, you can do it. Although we call that just use your browser. Can you do it on a computer?
You cannot download the app on the computer.
Damn, that's a missed opportunity from Cars and Bids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I start this, please?
Yeah, please.
Can we talk about the Sapphire?
Yeah, what's the deal? We got a Sapphire on the site. This is a Lucid Air Sapphire.
Which there's not been any public auction results that I've seen for a Lucid Air Sapphire.
Yeah.
I have been defending this car to no end internally among coworkers.
It's cool.
And people don't get just how cool it is. And I find that frustrating.
You know what, though? Farah made a point. I was on his pod yesterday.
Yeah. When does that come out?
I don't know. He made a good point, though, about this and all the other ones. The super fast one and the non-super fast one, when you're driving them,
same.
They're the same.
But you would know that you have 1,234 horsepower.
You would know. But like, okay. Oh, you don't. So you drive the 850 horsepower one and you're like way behind.
I know, but it's cool.
Like his point was like
it's
a
rare
V6
that I
Charger.
think power is cool, but it's cool.
His point was like a V6 Charger versus a Hellcat. Like you drive those around, it's different at all, like everywhere. You can feel it, you can hear it. That's not.
Isn't the Sapphire kind of different? Isn't there? Do you drive it like the suspension setup is?
It is. The Sapphire
way more
is
advanced.
a tremendously exceptional car, but I thought that about the Dream Edition that I drove also.
Well, sorry, Dream Edition or Dream Performance Edition? Because we discovered last week that there's about 150 horsepower difference.
I had a gold one. I had a gold one.
They were both.
I went up to their facility in the Bay. I drove a gold one around.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Performance? No. Was it 1,001 horsepower or was it 907?
It was gold. Does that help?
You're proving his point. It doesn't make a difference.
But I think that's
truly though. It is proving my point. Like these are all amazing cars. And yes, the Sapphire is the coolest of cool.
And it has better suspension and
it does. It drives
stuff.
better. It's better.
It's just cool though. I want people to recognize and know that it's cool. Now, unfortunately, everybody walking by in the street will just think that you have a $700 a month lease special. But you will know that you have 1,234 horsepower.
I agree that it's totally cool. It is an amazing car. It was awesome to drive. I think that about basically all Lucids. I think they are bargains. I'm not sure what happens to the company long term.
Yeah,
but they are incredibly good, nice.
The Gravity is not the best looking SUV in the world.
Oh wow,
yeah,
anti-gravity over here.
Nice.
Kenan, think about it this way: your M5 has you think it's powerful. Multiply that horsepower by 3. Yeah.
Bring that, elongate your M5's hood.
And then the difference is 52 more horsepower.
Right. The difference is when I drive my car, I know it's special. That's the difference. I don't need to.
That's an interesting point. This car has the same level of visual distinction from a regular Lucid
as their M5.
Yeah. Like wheels and
probably more suspension
I did say this is the M5. When you see the M5 and a 540 driving on the road, for instance, like you can tell, like the whole stance is different.
You can sort of tell this. I will say, in terms of electric cars that like an enthusiast would look at and say, wow, This is one.
I would
That's
say
the
wow.
thing. Like the M5, it was louder than the 540. It had dual exhaust.
Sure,
Like
sure
it
you can
was
turn it up.
and ITBs. Yeah, the throttle response. Let's not even get into that. It was a different experience to drive it though, and it also had it wasn't just the power; it was the handling was better.
Well,
Like,
yeah, so that's true in this too.
Yeah.
and you have
but the
Alcantara.
difference is this is
Probably.
electric, and it's just like it's already fast as hell as it is,
Yeah.
and so like it really performance
think
is
it's
not enough.
Well, it is cool. It is interesting, and it will be interesting to see what it brings.
We have noted
have
MSRP
no
is
idea.
$250.
Okay, pull up C8 Corvettes because I've started to notice
Yeah.
this too. I want to talk about some cheapies, cars that have gotten cheap. There was a long time where cars weren't cheap. They're back, go down. We've been selling C8 Corvettes, not the Z06, but regular C8 Corvettes
50s.
in the low 50s.
We had one that are in the
Wow.
high 40s.
These cars are getting affordable. And, it's interesting. They make a ton of them. You see them everywhere. They're not as special as they were when they came out. But for like 2 solid years, these red sticker or above,
They were
and
80s
also
easily.
the performance level that this car offers at this number is
If
pretty
you're a
great.
cheaper modern mid-engine car, like this is not just a Corvette. Like
the Alfa Romeo 4C.
barely cheaper.
Yeah, I know.
Like this is an insane amount of performance.
BMW i3.
Ooh, interesting. I would call that
Okay.
rear engine.
All right. Calm down.
Is
BMW i8.
this engine in the rear?
I don't know. No one knows.
It's
Even the
rear
people who
engine,
work on
not
it.
Man, that's impressive. This person put almost 60,000
Right.
miles on it in 4 years.
The reality is that prices are going
Driving.
down because people have driven
People
them
are
a lot
driving,
in the last
and
4
they're
years.
getting older. I mean, this is This is now a 4 or 5 year old car. C8 honestly is due for a refresh, which is hard to believe. Like it's getting.
That's
there.
a good point.
It's already getting there. When we still think of it as the new Corvette, that's how I always tell people.
Still
that.
looks great, honestly.
But damn, it is a total bargain
It
when you
is.
think about
Yeah.
the performance level. 500 horse with dual clutch. It is fast. It looks. Some people love how it looks. Some people don't. It's certainly striking. It looks modern.
It looks like a exotic sports car.
It looks like an exotic sports car in a way that a Corvette didn't since the
No.
C2, right?
Right.
I mean, it's cool. And these things get in the 50s, 60s, the 40s. These are going to follow Corvette. They're depreciating less than regular Corvettes, but they're going to get there.
Are they?
Yeah,
they
dude.
are. Something
You'll
for
be
you.
able to pick one up for 26.
Yeah, he won't. But yeah,
No, he'll be like, in 3 years, he'll be 22.
right. Exactly.
I'll wait.
What do you expect?
On the
Um,
subject of cheap cars, because that's a great one, look up Focus RS, please. You know about this?
I've been watching it.
Why aren't you buying one?
I've thought about it.
You see this, Kenan?
Yeah, I
Sold for
have.
20 grand.
Oh,
We
that
sold
is
one
so-
Horses for 20 grand.
that is
Yep.
so cool
What?
for 20 G.
For
How
a
did this
nitrous blue
happen?
one, especially.
To me, a 20 grand Focus
Dang.
performance Focus is an ST, which is probably now a $9,000
It
car.
is.
Like this was like the king car. When this came out, it was like they're bringing the RS to America. This is so
I
cool.
know.
It's so amazing. It was so fast. It looks so
It looks
cool.
so
And by
good.
the way, this isn't even some crappy, horribly modded off-color
this is
stupid one.
this is
This
nitrous
is
blue.
the one.
That is the one.
This is it.
That is
If
the
I
one.
wanted one, and I do, I would get this.
Almost 100,000 miles.
They're getting driven,
Yeah,
for
they're
sure.
getting driven.
But go back. It wasn't an outlier
No,
sale.
they're
Like,
all around this.
That
They're
mean-
all
That means the head gasket's been replaced.
20,000,
If it's
22,000. These are both one-owner cars.
The nicest ones are the 30s.
The
But
nicest
like-
ones are in the low 30s, but you can get for low 20s.
I
Will
know.
buy you a Focus RS. This is a fast, fun, like
crazy
exciting.
cool.
Do we even need the STI anymore? We got this.
I've always
I'd
thought
buy it
these
over
were
now.
so
That's
cool.
yeah, for
They're
sure.
So cool. Why'd you get one of these? Drive around for 20 G's in that?
Nah, I can't.
People would think you're
He
so
would,
cool.
he
I
would
would
hate
think you're
it.
cool.
He would hate it just like
yeah,
he hated
but you'd
the
like me in an
WRX.
S class too. So and a Cayenne Turbski. Both
Yeah.
also very cool. But no, I have always thought and they're incredible to drive. Even the ST also is so much fun to drive. I cannot believe that they're finally getting like
Those are 20. C8 Corvettes are 50. And new body S classes
What are-
almost are 16.5.
For 40
Right.
grand, you could buy a Focus RS and a new body
And a
S
new
class.
body S class. 40 G's will put you in that's a 2-car solution for 40,000 US.
I can't think of anything better.
that's a good
Legitimately.
one. honestly. I really do want when they killed this car off, I was so sad because like you said, finally we got an RS and they were selling. They sold
Yeah.
well. People loved
And the
them
ST
and
did too.
enthusiasts, beloved by journalists and enthusiasts alike. And they sold them. And then Ford was like, nah.
Well, they decided not to bring the Focus at all or the Fiesta at all to the US, which is why they killed it. But
But
Which is sick.
it's just such a shame. I wish that had kept going because we can't. Like we
the
had
next
the
one was even better looking.
I know. And like
I love
what they
the
killed.
Gen
I
Focus,
wish
actually.
they hadn't, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
Also, by the
But
way,
it's okay because you can still get one of these,
Yeah.
and they're really enjoyable cars.
This one down here, 30,000 mile one owner car sold for 25.5.
3 years ago, I sold a base Ford Focus hatchback with a stick with 110,000 miles for $6,000. How long till we get to these?
Those won't go down to that level. But WRX STIs do indicate where these will go, which means they'll go into the mid-teens to low like 12 grand.
And you're right. STs are 10.
STs are 10. That's the bargainest car. If you're watching this right now and you don't already have a Focus ST, go.
Honestly, I agree with that.
Everybody's like, what should I get for 10 grand that's fun? And my answer is often like, honestly, 10 grand, if that's all your budget is, you should really be focused on just trying to find a normal, rational, reliable car. Disagree. Go back. I want an ST. I want a
5 to 10.
ST. Oh my God. Well, that's not the real.
No.
No,
there you go.
ZX4.
But
this is a $9,500 car. This is an amazing
I would
car.
also, that's post facelift. I would have spent $9,000.
No accidents. Also 103,000 miles.
I love driving Focus STs. The steering is so quick.
Would you rather have a Mark 7 GTI or a Focus ST? They're the same price.
Focus, unquestionable. They were stick only. They had the cool wheels.
They did have the cool wheels.
And it just felt like some European thing we weren't supposed to get.
Yeah.
Proven by the fact that they gave it to us for a few years, then they pulled it back.
Yeah, exactly. My friend Steven had one, and it was so much fun to drive.
They were also a lot more powerful than the Mark 7 GTI. Didn't these have 252?
That's right. I think that's right.
Yeah.
So
that's a big
more,
number.
Yeah.
Yeah. The GTI had 200.
Or 220. Who knows? Who knows?
Not 252.
Yeah, agreed. And for what I loved my base Sportback.
You floored it in this thing and it went straight, even though I'm telling you, this was fast. That engine was
Handled
so potent. It was like, it felt like a V6.
The RS one or the ST?
The ST.
Yeah.
I can't, oh man.
What are Fiesta STs?
The same price. It's very annoying.
I would actually make the argument though that the Fiesta is just as fun. Get one of these instead.
Fiestas are more.
I just told you to buy the Focus.
No. Okay. There's been a lot of the Fiesta ST is known to be a better driver's car.
It's more fun.
But the Focus ST, you can actually drive places.
And it's much faster. And it's legitimately much more practical.
I legitimately drove 50,000 miles in a regular Focus hatchback. And it was comfortable. It was great on the highway.
It's
the
interesting
ST,
to
I'm
see
sure
these at the same price level. I don't know which one I would
Incredibly
pick.
Fiestas are cheap, I would more expensive.
And for now on, anyone who comes to me saying they got 10 grand to buy a car, what should I get? The answer will 100% of the time be Focus ST. You know how Miata is always the answer?
No.
Nope. Focus ST is
I'm
the
keeping
answer.
with my answer, which is
if you got
last
20?
gen Volvo V60.
And if you got 20 grand.
V60.
Yeah, they're like 8 to 12.
Why does he do this to us?
Because he's just, and but if you have 2025 and Ford Focus RS.
They're not. This is a manual hot hatch. Volvo V60 is like a car you drive to your Scandinavian Christmas
I want
party.
more space.
For those who can't see, Filippo's wearing a Scandinavian Christmas party sweater.
I'm wearing a sweater.
We got to get onto the questions. He's wearing a sweater. It's 84 degrees today.
This week
It just feels Christmassy, and so he's got to put on time. We got to get on the questions. The questions are brought to you by Kenan. Kenan, he does things.
I do.
If you want to ask a question, go to carsandbiz.com, click on the community tab, and then there's a post there that says ask questions, and then you ask your question and we'll answer the question no matter how brilliant the question is.
Ooh,
thank you.
Nice.
First question from Sam's Panamera. If Kim Jong-un made you his successor, which single car model would you force every North Korean citizen to drive? This was the highest upvoted question. I haven't often thought about what I would force my impoverished population to drive. Obviously Acura. But
so I think that the question is how many, like what car can you import many of?
Well, that's the thing. So here's what you got to think to yourself.
Cheap.
What deal could you strike? You know what? Like if I went to Acura and was like, hey, look.
No, that makes the answer clear. Nissan Sentra.
Yeah, it's going to be Nissan.
All
for
Nissan
sure.
Sentras.
Why? Because they're
desperate for
sales.
Oh,
I'm talking about how could they scratch my back? I could. Like if I went to Acura and said, hey, I'll give you some.
You could get an NSX for yourself.
Maybe you give me 10, 12 NSXs. Or if I went to Stellantis and said, hey, look, I'll buy Dodge Hornets. I'll do it. No one else will, but I will. I'll buy 100,000 of them for my impoverished people. But you got to make me a Night Vision 456 estate.
You obviously go to Alpha. You get the Tonale, which is the same car, and then you say that all your constituents drive Alphas, and then you get an 8C for yourself.
Yeah, an 8C. If I was a despot, an 8C is not a hard buy. It's like they're like 200 and they're pretty available. They're like around. Pretty much every Night Vision 456. Yeah.
Venice.
Yeah, Venice. Let's be clear. I want plebeian crap here.
Or a sedan, a 4-door.
Which, by the way, was also called the Venice. Did you know that? So there was it was the 456 Venice. They come out with this one-off car, and the 456 Venice and the 456 Venice Estate.
Creative. It's an interesting question because you'd want something that people could work on and be as reliable. You don't actually want to give them a Tonale because they'll break down, and then what's the point?
And then you
Oh,
have an
you want to
angry
seem like a
people.
benevolent.
Well, no, just you don't want to deal with it. You know.
I don't want anything that I couldn't get something from the automaker. So you're saying you want Toyotas. I don't want. What can Toyota give me?
Well, if you
the
get a
GT1, that's not enough.
Some people would say the
It is
LFA, but you're not into that.
I don't want no LFA. Maybe they put a manual transmission in it and make it attractive. I would take an LFA. Not possible.
Of course, 100,000 cars is what they sell in a week.
Yeah, but I'm doing a one-off order here. I'll keep the factories running for a week.
I think I buy up every Focus ST around.
For your Populous?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, that's insane. Remember that guy who was buying all the Broncos on the site and stuff?
Yeah.
We thought shipping them maybe?
Yeah.
We didn't look into it though. But okay, next question from Verity. What happened to Alanis? We had Alanis King. She worked with us. She made videos with us. We did a complete rehash of our content. And we don't do the same videos we used to. And we kind of brought it all in physically in studio. Alanis lives out of the state. And she worked with us for a couple of months and we liked her. And it was a reasonably good situation. But we changed what we do. And that changed. And so Alanis went. I mean, in a world of content creators, there's kind of always a going and coming. We had Zach Clapman do some content for us too. I don't know if that's going to continue. There were other people, weren't there?
Yeah.
And now it's gone. But we love Alanis. I still love Alanis. I follow her on everything, and I think she does great content. I seriously, truly mean that. But instead, we have Filippo now. Next question. What is the worst car that currently costs over $100,000 from BW Smith? We just looked on the Maserati website.
Maserati.
That had already answered itself.
Is the Maserati more or less overpriced than an SL55 AMG?
No, dude. That Ghibli was
SL53
109 base.
AMG.
That Ghibli was 109 base.
SL53 is like
What could
130.
they put in a Ghibli to make it worth 109?
Good point.
What could they put?
I don't know.
$109,000 check in the car.
I have no disagreement.
I mean, that's the. That's the answer. Next question from JDM Fan 345. If you were all given the money to equivalent to your car collection, would you buy back all of your cars today or buy different cars? I would buy the exact same cars except for a white Ford GT.
Yep. I see.
Well, my car collection is worth conservatively.
Yeah, but you're the only one of us who answers that you would buy different cars.
I would buy different cars.
If both of your cars were gone today, you'd buy completely different cars.
I sometimes daydream about a tree falling on the car.
Because then it would force him to make a decision.
I specifically avoid parking near trees.
It would allow me to make a decision.
It would force him for once in his life to
I make a decision constantly, but I can't justify the transaction costs and changing
Remember when we went up to Rancho Santa Fe? That was eye-opening for me. We had an hour to pick cars, and at minute 56, me and you had 3 of the 4 picked, and we were upset that we had made so many choices. And he's sitting there like,
I stand by my choices, by the way. I had a great X5 50E. I had a 997.2. And I had some other car. I don't remember what it was. But it was great.
We both had GT3s. He had a Bentley. I
know. I had a 997 GT3. I had a Bentley. And he's over here like, oh. So anyway, the point is Filippo doesn't know how to make choices, but he would buy different cars.
It's more that I can't justify changing cars, but I would choose different cars if given the opportunity. If given the requirement.
You can sell it and another individual will give you money. And therefore,
then you have to deal with there's a bunch of work associated with that.
No,
and I like all of my cars enough.
You guys were on an auction website.
I would just want a different experience if I were buying something again.
Get a different experience.
You can get a different experience, and then you say nah because you just.
I like my experience.
Paralysis by analysis.
I like my experience. I just don't want to deal with the changing. But if something else happens and I have no choice, if I have to go out and buy a car anyways, I may as well buy something new.
This is the problem with Filippo. You have learned it and heard it right here.
I said
the problem with Filippo. And by the way, Kenan and I both answered yes unequivocally. I wouldn't even consider it. If all of them burned tomorrow, I would start the search for a new Countach, Courier GT, and Ford.
I would have 3 days of mourning first, but then I would.
Of course, there'd be days of mourning. There'd be a mourning period that ends on the car's birthday.
Oh, that's a long time for me because it just happened.
Now it is, but if it happened in the spring, it'd only be a 6-month mourning period where you took the bus.
Oh, that would be awful.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, can I ask a question? Okay, we were talking about your sports cars. You have a couple of daily drivers.
Yeah, I would still get an all-terrain.
But would you, when you were waiting for your Defender, you bought a car for a year?
Yeah.
Would you do the same thing of like, I want to find the right Sequoia, I want to find the right all-terrain?
No, the right Sequoia, we already know what it is. It's pretty easy to find. You could negotiate me a deal by getting 0 off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be on the lookout for a specific spec. You would just buy the suit.
No, I'd get another white one.
And what if there's one for sale?
There is. They're more common now because there's a couple more model years that have happened. Free 450 all-terrain, same deal. I might look for a new one, but probably not. I want to order my new one through my buddy Amir at Mercedes-Benz at Temecula. Shout out to Amir. Okay, but I'm not ready yet. Alec Metz, 2011. Given the opportunity to drive it, would you fly overseas to review the Gordon Murray T50? No. Next question. That just doesn't.
Doug hates that car.
Kenan is mad at me about. All right,
Yeah,
go ahead.
it is.
Yell at me. I'll take it.
You remember in the 1990s, McLaren introduced a car called the F1. And you probably looked at it and been like, oh, yawn. It doesn't say Ferrari on it. And you would have turned down that opportunity too, and you'd look like a complete numpty. And here we are. It's the designer of the F1 has built another car with one of the most exciting naturally aspirated engine currently for sale. Nah. Now, for him, admittedly, Doug does not like to travel. He wouldn't go to Los Angeles to review this, I don't think.
No, you'd go to LA.
You go to LA for a T50. You wouldn't go
Would you go to Phoenix?
I'd go to Phoenix if Kenan came with me.
Oh, please. I'll go.
But he's
Anyway.
not allowed to come to the car review. He's
Right.
only like keeping me company in the
Just
hotel
drive.
room.
Right.
Never mind. God.
Look, my thing about the T50 is there's so many modern hypercars, and it's
Yeah, but this one has a manual and it's an NAV12. It's what we want.
Valkyrie's got an NAV12.
Yeah, and it's a tip. This is a 6-speed manual.
I got the Countach is the manual. This one, like I don't. What's new? What's different? It looked Gordon Murray
That's
made
the
it.
point. That's the point.
I
It's
just-
the point is that it
I just
takes
can't get excited.
that analogness to its final conclusion.
They're touting it like it's the greatest thing in the world. It's a little weird looking, to be honest. And it's
It is
also
weird
like,
looking.
to be honest, it's also a little like McLaren F1 derivative. Like, oh, you like that one? Here's this one. Look, it looks the same. It has a fan on the back. Ooh, we're having a roll.
There are concessions that had to be made at the time
And
of the
we named
F1.
it after Gordon Murray because you know who that is. It's like,
Well, it's his company.
yeah, but
Are you saying Enzo Ferrari was German because he named all his cars
let
after
me tell you something.
Ferrari?
There's nobody named Ram. All right. Sometimes you just name a company because that's what you're trying to accomplish. You're not naming it after yourself. I mean, there was a guy named Dodge, Chrysler. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
You're missing
Ford-
the point, okay? I don't know. I just haven't gotten it. And then there's a dot in the name. I know that's silly, but like it really is a
Look,
car that it seems like they have come
Don't
out with to try to appeal to these geeky car people.
That's you. You are a geeky car person. That's us. That's what we do. You will drive it one day, and then just like all these other cars you've bemoaned driving, then you drive it, and it's like, it's the greatest thing I've ever driven. The P1 Lanzante, you thought, oh, it's so stupid, I have to get in a race car. You came back, would not shut up about it. It will be the same thing with the T50. You'll mark my words, I'll put this day
What
on
do
my
they cost?
calendar too. Oh, you can't. But
What do they cost?
you couldn't get one if you wanted to. I
But
think
what do they cost?
I think
I
they
don't know.
started at, I want to say it was like 2.5 is what
So
it
this
started.
is another problem. I have.
$2.8 million.
Why would I spend 2.8 on a car from a new brand that's like a derivative?
Because the car it's derivative of is 20.
Yeah, but I could get an F50 for 2.8. I could call up
You
Assad.
cannot get a 250.
I could call up
for 2.8.
Assad today. He's in Moscow.
I think he's a
That
little
car has
busy.
been melted to the
I'm
ground.
gonna be honest.
It doesn't exist. No, you cannot get an F50 for 2.8. That's outrageous and ridiculous. You
They
can't.
sell low threes.
Is that 2.8? I didn't think so. It's a couple $100,000 up. My
This thing
point
starts
is,
at 2.8. You said there's probably you got to put
Yeah,
and then you got to put on all these options that are like.
Well, it starts there.
Well, you have
One-
to get the bejeweled seats because the bejeweled seats are really cool. They look like this, and then you got to get the
Oh,
stitching on the steering wheel, and the
shut-
stitching on the regular
no.
wheels.
So just
Where'd you
get
pick
in the
one
car.
option? Silver.
That's not true.
That's not true, as you
There
know.
were 4 options, and most of them were silver.
We've
Get
learned
in
there's
that
more.
car and shift your own gears and listen to the V12 that sits behind you.
I just can't get into it. I this is going to be a controversial opinion that people are going to hate me for, but I just don't think it's cool. I just don't like when I think about what a cool car is. It doesn't hit me that the GMA T.50, the Gordon Murray Academy T.50 is cool. It doesn't feel cool.
It's so
It
cool.
feels
Hearing
like
it,
try.
having heard it go around the racetrack, it's
Well, all right,
insane.
maybe I need to get in it. They keep telling me that I can't. They're like, we'll get you in a T33. I guess they're trying to sell those. They're like, we can't get you in a T50.
T33 looks
But
better.
I could get a T50 to drive.
Well,
There's
you
a few people.
You should
Yeah,
do
I
it.
think at some point you will.
I'm not
And
going.
I look forward to the day that happens and you tell me that I was right and it was.
Maybe you're right. I'll take it. I take
I
it all
am
back. I'm into the T50. Vaguely. I don't know. I just
No, be true to yourself. You hate
I'm
it, and
just
that's
so
okay. You're wrong.
disappointed so often by these modern cars.
I understand, but this has a manual.
Is that the only thing we're looking for?
And
Would
an
I be
NAV
into
car.
Would
It
I be
revs-
into the 765 LT if it had a
It
manual
revs to
transmission?
18,000, I think. It's an insane car.
You get my point, though.
You get my point. This is like we bemoan the analog driving experience in those cars.
Okay.
That's it.
Question for you then, Mr. T.50. Suddenly you got $3 million. What are you buying?
A 50.
Okay, what are you buying after the F50?
A really nice 40.
Yep. What are you buying after that?
For $3 million.
You get a GTB. You get a Courier GT. You get a VE. You get a She.
GTV.
275.
Oh.
You get a Countach.
For a lot
You
less
get an
than
SC30.
3.
Well, I'm not saying you have to spend every penny of it. What the hell?
Oh, that's what I was doing. I was thinking of cars that are
No, you
worth
got
in and around
cap.
3.
You got a 3 cap.
Oh, 3 cat. Well, it's free. The F50 would be all.
Yeah. Okay. F50. But after that, you get an F40. Then after that, you
The
get
$3 million just keeps happening. It's really a
keeps
good
happening.
situation
It's
for
an
you.
infinite money. Where on your list? Is what I'm saying. How
That's the
far
T50.
down is the T50? It ain't.
It's a,
Would you?
for cars that are worth around that, it's probably in the top 10. You're right that it's not like in the top 3 or 5,
Interesting.
but it's up there.
That's
What else is
that
$3
hits me,
million?
though.
Like what?
288
What?
GTO.
No.
I can't. I don't fit.
What
unfortunately.
like Pagani is $3 million,
You
or
just-
what Koenigsegg is $3 million?
I tried.
I don't know anything about Koenigsegg.
Koenigsegg, I wouldn't even.
No, but
Fake me
let's
the
say,
Y
what are you competing against? The Utopia, which is also a stick.
That's true. Why aren't you talking about Utopia like you're talking about T.50? Gordon Murray Academy. Why are you talking about Utopia? Utopia's a stick. It's also $3 million. Why are we talking about Utopia? You got some Pagani anti-bias here. You're just into Gordon Murray.
No,
That's the problem. They're both sticks.
because the Utopia looks exactly like the car that.
So
preceded it.
what? They both look cool.
Well,
It is- I
The
like
Gordon
it.
Murray
It's
Academy is
it's
not like the
not
F1,
an
except there's a
innate-
fan on the back.
It's not a naturally aspirated V12.
Oh, for God's sake, where's those goalposts? So I can't see them. They've been moved so far.
Hey, I don't like turbo lag, and you know what? The T50 doesn't have turbo
Turbo,
lag.
give me a break.
It's
Where's the
about the
16,000? You think it doesn't have lag? If you're at the 2,000 mark, you think it's a 16? You think it just does that?
It does. It revs
God's
incredibly
sake.
fast. You know nothing. You haven't read any of the.
I drove a
engineering briefs.
Valkyrie. It's fast, but 12,000 RPM takes some time to get to. And by the way, they figured out turbo lag. They solved that. They solved that in the XJ220.
You think that Pagani has clocked those turbos to the point where there's no
You-
lag?
Why don't you think they have? Pagani makes great
I saw
cars.
the fire extinguisher go off on the car on accident when it was sitting
I
at
drove
Quail.
a Zonda,
I mean,
and it was the best car I've
Right,
ever
the
driven
Zo-
in my life. It was the best car I've ever driven in my life.
yeah, Zonda came out 25 years ago, 30 years
that
ago.
just proves this. Utopia should be better. This was not intended to be a 10-minute question.
Yet here we are.
Well, you're infuriating. You know nothing.
All right, that's the end. We have to stop here because we've gone way, way over. There's probably ads all over this podcast, which I apologize for. And I apologize for Kenan too, or maybe for myself. I
No,
don't know if I'm
apologize for
right.
yourself. I think people
Let's
agree
get the
with me.
car. Let's get the car. Someone give us a T50, T.50, Gordon Murray Academy, and we'll see if I'm right or if you're right.
Yes, please send us one.
All right, let's do that. Let's drive the car, and then we'll report
I'll
back.
ride around it. We can all three go in it.
That's
but
true.
Filippo could sit there and look bored. On
It's
his
one of
phone.
them 3-seaters?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Ah.
Like
so would,
the new Kia Telluride.
would you be into the Speedtail if
It had a manual
he's not wrong?
and weren't ugly. Didn't look like a
the difference
salamander.
is the Telluride steering wheel's still on the left.
Right.
In the T.50
I know.
Gordon Murray Academy, it's on the middle.
I know, but I
On.
had to appeal to the other category of our listeners.
Can I tell you something? The McLaren Speedtail,
People-
McLaren Speedtail, you can charge on a charging pad.
I know. It looks like a
Slowly.
salamander.
Can you charge the Gordon Murray Academy
Slowly.
Does
T.50?
it need it? Because it's an NA V12.
Well,
Fair point.
I would accept a plug-in hybrid if it meant that I could have a charging pad. Thank you all for watching. Sorry about that Volkswagen van situation.
We'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it in a few months.
Next week.
And absolute pleasure. Mercedes Pure Speed. Go pick one up.
Our best podcast yet.
Our best podcast ever. Gordon Murray Academy.
Goodbye.